Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Kalen with Magus PvE bringing you another video. And today I have something a little bit different and a little bit special. I recently received an item from Nova Tactical, which is a small company based out of Canada, and they're currently specializing in 3D printing various accessories and modifications for paintball markers. And I ordered one of these. This is the Tippmann A5 X7 or X7 Phenom MagFed adapter kit that replaces the Cyclone feed system on those markers. And unlike some of them, it doesn't stick out from the side of your marker, so it's not sitting out like an old style machine gun from World War II. It actually lays sideways against the marker, kind of like the dead cell adapter for the Tippmann 98 and the Tippmann 98 Custom. The main difference here, though, between this adapter and the one from Dead Cell is that this one actually has a spring-fed mag release lever. So you push it in and it actually locks into place, whereas the Dead Cell adapter is a friction based retention system. So it holds the magazine in by friction versus having a mechanical release like this one does. I just got it today. I haven't tested it out or anything like that, so I'm about to install it on the marker and just kind of offer some of my preliminary opinions about it. One of the main concerns that I have about this, and based on some of the things that I've read about it, and about 3D printed items in general, is just the overall durability of this thing. Depending on how items are printed when they're 3D printed, the quality of the filament plays into it a lot. I'm not a 3D printing expert or anything by any means, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but I know that people are often concerned about the overall stability and durability of these things breaking or wearing out over time. But just feeling it out of the packaging, it feels pretty sturdy. It's nice and thick. And the definition seems pretty fine on this, so I'm not really too concerned about that. I don't beat on my markers or drop them on the ground a lot or anything like that. The screw that's on here is a set screw, and it comes with a little nut for the installation, and it's actually a 3/16 Allen key bolt that comes with it, which is the same as the one that's on the Tippmann A5 marker, so that's nice that you can still use your same Allen keys and everything to get or Allen wrenches to get the installation done for these. And then they have, I don't know if you can see it there, but they have their emblem 3D printed on there too, right on the magwell. So you can represent Nova Tactical. This thing was $20 on their website, and then if you have to get it shipped to the States, it's I think a minimum of $12 or something like that for them to send one to you. But I have mine now, so I'm going to go ahead and get this installed. I'm not going to bother boring you with the installation motion or capture or anything like that. So we'll just go ahead and I'll show you the finished product once I get this installed on the marker. Alright, so now we have the magwell adapter installed on the Tippmann A5. One of the first things that I noticed, and it was something I was kind of afraid of when I ordered this, was the fact that when you install it on a Tippmann A5, the length of this actually obscures your access to the velocity control screw. So I won't be able to take this into the field and chronograph it properly with the adapter installed on the marker. So I'll either have to keep the Cyclone feed installed on it and chronograph it first and then put this back on. So that's going to be a bit of a hassle. I'm not sure if that's a game breaker or not for me yet. The field I go to, a lot of times the refs will randomly chrono somebody between games just for safety, and if you have to do an adjustment, you're going to be out there on the field having to take the magwell off, feed balls in manually into the breech, and shoot them one at a time to chronograph the marker. So that's pretty inconvenient. It wouldn't be an issue for an X7 Phenom or the X7 because their velocity control is actually on the back of the marker, so that wouldn't be a problem with those models. But with the A5, that's something to keep in mind. Installation is very simple. All you have to do basically is remove the bolt that holds the Cyclone feed adapter or the Cyclone in the side of the marker. So I just screwed that bolt back into the Cyclone itself, and then you need a flathead screwdriver to remove the banjo fitting that plugs into the power tube port here on the side of the marker. Another thing that you want to order if you plan on doing this is one of these tiny little plastic plugs that you can get from TipmanParts.com or probably other sources as well. I'll put a link in the description to the part number for this and to TipmanSports.com, or TipmanParts.com rather. That's where I got mine. I actually bought 2 of them because I was missing the response trigger plug as well. That thing popped out a long time ago. So I'll put one of these in here. I'm not going to do it right now because you have to be really careful with the threading so you don't ruin it. Otherwise it's just going to shoot out under pressure. So that's installed. Basically you just screw it in. It comes with its own nut and bolt to replace the stock nut and bolt. Use a 3/16 Allen wrench to do it. And that's pretty much what it looks like. So if you turn it to the side, you'll notice there's a bit of a gap between the adapter and the marker. So it's not going to sit flush. So that'll be a little bit different, but you know, not a big deal. It clears up the sight line across the top of the marker, so you no longer have that cyclone feed here or a huge hopper taking up any of your field of view. So that'll be nice. You can actually aim down the top of the marker. It just kind of opens up the sights a little bit more. Not that you have to use sights with these, but it is nice. I do have Zetamags because I run with a Tippmann TIPX most of the time when I'm doing MagFed play. This will kind of just be a backup to my TIPX. The way that you load these in is actually upside down like this. So with the TIPX, the follower here would be towards the front of the marker. With this, since it's feeding in and then down, the release notch here is actually at the bottom. So you're going to be doing it with the follower and the hole where the paintballs roll in facing up towards you. So you have to slide that into place. Oh, and it's a little firm. Oh, I don't know. This one doesn't seem to be very well cleaned up. So right now it's not even engaging that mag release switch unless I flip it up manually. So keep that in mind. You'll have to insert it and then you release the follower. The balls will then feed in and then down, and then one by one they would go into the breech of the marker that way. So it seems like that won't be a problem. Some of the reviews that I've seen online for this thing mentioned that once you get to the last 1 or 2 balls, you have to kind of tip the marker to the left because there's no spring tension anymore. It feeds them up to a certain point by force, and then the last 2 kind of have to go in by gravity. One way to possibly eliminate that problem was if maybe they had built it up a little bit higher so the magazine would sit higher and then put a ramp like feeding down into it. Those last 2 would then roll down into the marker naturally. So maybe just some notes for the guys at Nova to improve that in the future. But yeah, these don't slide in very easily and they don't come out very easily either. So maybe won't be relying as much on that mechanical release at this point. But you know, over time maybe it'll loosen it up after repeated insertions and removal of the magazine. So that being said, we'll go ahead and follow up with my final impressions before I actually do any reviewing on the field with this thing. Alright, so my final impressions on this thing are kind of mixed. The one problem I did notice that when you're using Zetamags with this, if you load the magazine in, the thumb release doesn't engage itself automatically. You kind of have to slide it in and then flick it up with your thumb. So maybe with a little bit of sanding that might work a little bit more smoothly. I also noticed that when you remove it, you have to kind of hold that latch down, otherwise I'll get caught on that last notch on the top of the magazine on the way out. So you have to do that. So that might make flipping the magazines around a little bit more cumbersome, and then you always have to release the follower, so it's going to affect your reloading speed in that way. it's a little bit rough still going in and out, but again, that might smooth out with a little bit of repeated use, so may not be an issue. Now the question though is, who does this really appeal to? Is it for everybody? No, I don't think this is going to be a solution for everybody. I don't think it's for the guy who has, or girl who has an A5 in their closet, doesn't have any experience with MagFed, and just decides, hey, I want a MagFed marker, I'm going to buy one of these. Because you have to then buy magazines. So you're going to have to buy Zetamags, or you're going to have to buy TrueFeed mags for this thing. And just getting the magazines plus the adapter alone is going to cost you about as much as what it would normally cost for a pre-made fully aluminum replacement kit for the A5, like the Vortex kit from Rap4. They have a deal right now, I think, where you can get the Vortex body and then 5 Helix mags or something like that for like $150 plus shipping, I think. So if you're starting out and you have to get 4 Zetamags, that's around $100 right there. Plus the kit, which was $20 and then $12 for shipping, you're spending $130 versus something where you could get an entire aluminum body plus 5 20-round magazines for $150. It to me seems like a no-brainer. This is more for the people who, like me, who had an A5 in their closet. I already have a Tippmann paintball marker that's a MagFed marker, so I already have my mags. To me, I only had to spend a little bit of money to get this, and now I have a backup to my existing MagFed marker that I use regularly. So, a no-brainer for guys like me who have something already, but definitely not for the newbie MagFed player out there. But I haven't gotten to use it on the field yet, so take all that with a little bit of a grain of salt. I'll try to post some videos of gameplay footage with this thing after this weekend, and hopefully, some of you guys can make some informed decisions based on my experience with it after Sunday. So until next time, this is Kalen with Mongoose PB signing off, and I hope to see you on the field.